With the offer of being a Hashira turned down by Tanjiro Kamado, at least for now, they have a little bit more to do. At least that's what he thinks. He believes that training these people, training the next step of Demon Slayers is a good idea. So he will be included in this training session with Kanao and training these other Demon Slayers by the name of Zenitsu and Inosuke. And he'll soon define that these people, he's going to have a decent relationship with them. Once they're all healed up and ready to go, they begin training. Tanjiro doesn't do any normal training though. Everything he's been doing is follow the line of what Urokodaki taught him all that time ago, and decides to employ it here. Yes, these Demon Slayers are pretty strong, at least comparatively to the other ones he's seen, in the forest at least. But still, they lack a lot of things. Eventually, it's all broken down for them, and eventually, they are pretty well off, strong enough. The only problem he's really having is one with Inosuke, where he kind of just does his own thing, and another with Zenitsu, in which he kind of just refuses to listen. He's not so sure. Zenitsu's kind of a crybaby in an instance, but he does seem to have good intentions. After more and more time passes by, they actually form a little bit of a group. The other Hashira believe that Tanjiro should tag along with Inosuke and Zenitsu, at least for now, at least for one mission, and their mission will be supporting Rengoku. They're gonna head down to the Mujin train and actually check it out. There's some demon over there that is causing a bit of a ruckus, and frankly Rengoku wants to speak with them and also give a little advice, you could say. So that's exactly what they do, heading back down to the train station, getting there just in time to board the train. And when they board it, they walk for a little bit, cart after cart, until they see Rengoku, who is currently eating food that has come out of some bentos, and he's enjoying it a little too much. Yumai! 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 He's basically just screaming over and over again, and everyone's staring at him as if he's some weirdo. Which, to be fair, he kinda is. But they walk up to him anyways and sit down and begin talking to Rengoku about what's going on, in which Tanjiro is given some information that Rengoku knows about. Not much at all really, but just as they're talking about this and talking about getting to know Rengoku and training, at least Inosuke and Zenitsu training under him at the recommendation of Tanjiro, the lights begin to flicker. Everything begins to change, and multiple demons show up. Tanjiro's about to stand up, but Rengoku takes the initiative, killing the two demons as if it were nothing, as if it was a piece of cake and they were just pushovers. But Tanjiro realizes that those demons were far from the last they would be seeing. But they have to be patient about exactly what they're doing, so he decides to wait. Maybe this was a bad idea for him to wait in such a way, but frankly, did he have a choice? He needed to get something out of this, figure something out, but just as he feels as if nothing was going to happen, a man begins to stamp their tickets. But Tanjiro is surprised when he feels the stamping of his ticket. He feels himself slipping, as if he's about to fall asleep, and unfortunately, he does. He falls asleep and wakes up in the middle of the snow, as if he was back at home, seeing his little brother call out to him, asking why Tanjiro was sleeping out here, and that if he's okay. Tanjiro looks around and walks over to him and pats him on the head. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just fine. Tanjiro walks over to the area that his family's home once was, and he begins to question if all of what he just did beforehand was a dream. What the hell is going on? There's no way that was a dream. That was too detailed. What is happening? As Tanjiro walks more and more, he stumbles across a light that is right outside of his home, a little grace. He begins to touch that grace and sits down as his maiden appears once again and shakes her head. Hello, Tanjiro. I'm sorry, but this is a dream. Beforehand, I actually saw you going into this dream state of some sorts. I was able to connect with you. I think it's time for you to wake up. You'll be in serious danger if you don't. Wow. You know, sometimes you could wish something like this was a dream. But I get it. I don't get to have a happy ending. That's fine. He touches the crystal or the grace once again, and his body begins to just shake uncontrollably until he wakes up at a blaze of flames with Nezuko trying to more or less awaken her brother. He pats her on the head and tells her to basically protect anybody that she can as he watches as these little kids walk in. Immediately he knocks them all out and begins to proceed outside the window. Alright, I haven't used you yet, so I guess this should be fun. He jumps out and a steed, a spectral steed, appears right beneath him and begins to run beside the train even faster than the train itself, catching up to the front of the train, double jumping on top of it as it disappears back once again, and he's right in front of the demon that made all of this happen. You know, you could have had an amazing life in that dream state. But you chose this. You chose to be in the world where your whole family's dead. Why? Why would you do that? I could have gave you something so peaceful, so amazing. As Enmu is saying this though, Tanjiro takes this to just slice the demon's head off, but Enmu slightly mocks him as another creature appears from the body, and he realizes that that was not his body and that it has to be something else, and he begins to smell the demon's essence all throughout the train, defeating that one tentacle-like monster as he absorbs back into the train. He goes back to his teammates and sees that Rengoku and Inosuke are finally waking up. He then questions them about what's going on and if they know anything else, but they don't really know anything at all. Tanjiro explains what he knows, and Rengoku tells him that he needs to go to the front of the train. That's most likely where the neck of Enmu is. So Tanjiro jumps outside with Inosuke as well, and Inosuke lands on top of Tanjiro as he summons his spectral steed. He goes to the front of the train to see that there's a conductor in the front. Tanjiro walks up and tells him that he needs to get this latch open, but the conductor immediately tries to stab Tanjiro. He grabs the blade that he basically has in his hand, and Tanjiro sweeps his leg and puts him on the ground, quickly knocking him out. Inosuke questions how is he able to do that so quickly, and without even any notice that his reactions are crazy, and that he wants to fight him later so that he can prove that his reactions are better. In which Tanjiro just smiles slightly and just shakes his head, opening the latch and breaking through as he comes barreling down trying to slice through the neck. But it seems like it's harder than just that. He asks, Inosuke if he can have his back because he senses something coming. And immediately tentacles begin flying over and over at them, trying to kill them, and Inosuke tells Tanjiro to stay focused, that he needs to be able to slice the neck. Tanjiro agrees, and he begins to jump up, towering far above the neck of Enmu, coming down at full speed as his sword lights ablaze, and when he lands the blow, it not only slices the neck, but let's just say 3 to 4 carts behind him get sliced in half. Tanjiro hasn't really revealed his full strength, and frankly, he doesn't even know if that's his full strength. It's one of his stronger attacks, but he's never unleashed that much power. He's never really had to. And this person is a lot stronger than what Rui was. Slicing into the neck, it completely obliterates 3 carts behind him, but also the neck of Enmu. Enmu begins to emerge out of the train, collapsing outside of it as it slows down to a stop. And then all of them head off the train and begin to be happy that it's all over, said and done with. Rengoku walks up to Tanjiro and pats him on the head, saying that he did good, and that he is ready to be a Hashira, in which Tanjiro puts his sword away and shrugs. Maybe I am. Maybe I am. As they begin to say this though, another voice can be heard, very close in the distance. Hashira or not, it really doesn't matter. You two and these other little demon slayers are gonna die right now. Someone else has entered the battlefield. It's Akaza, the upper 3 demon. An extremely strong demon that is going to be the toughest challenge Tanjiro and even Rengoku has ever faced in their lives. They both stand their ground and begin to charge at Akaza. The fight is fierce and fast, but their chemistry is slowly but surely overcoming Akaza. But is he toying with them? Playing with them? Akaza may be on a whole different level at this point. Maybe stronger, faster than they even imagine. Tanjiro begins to amp up the power he has within him, using everything in his arsenal he can possibly think of. He begins to ride around on his spectral steed, trying to gain distance between Akaza and him, but even that doesn't help him entirely. Akaza sends his hand through the steed and it poofs it into nothingness. Tanjiro blocks the attack that comes next, leaving Akaza open for attack from Rengoku. But even this isn't good enough. Rengoku gets punched right in the stomach, and it actually puts Akaza's hand through Rengoku's stomach. Not all the way through, but partially. Tanjiro kicks him away and is able to regain Rengoku once again and pulls him back away. He puts him on the ground and tells him to stay down for now and that he'll handle the fight for now. But Rengoku says that he won't be able to beat him. But Tanjiro shakes his head. Not trying to beat him. I'm trying to stall him out. I think I can do that. Most likely, at least. Tanjiro begins to take something out of his pocket and puts his arm in the air. And ringing begins to be heard as if he was swinging a bell. Ding, ding, ding. What the hell are you doing, kid? What is even going on? What the? As Rengoku remarks and looks, a clone, it seems, of Tanjiro stands right beside him, and Akaza is shocked to see this. There's 2 of you. One looks like a Misty version. You're interesting, kid. You know, we could fight forever, me and you. All you have to do is become a demon, and, whoa, we could be amazing. Nah, I think I'll pass on that one. I think it's time to get to work. Tanjiro and his own clone, perfectly in sync, begin to actually put Akaza on the back foot. Tanjiro, not having to worry about Rengoku at all, can unleash his entire power, every last bit of strength, any styles he's learned throughout this time, anything he's ever taught himself, he begins to unleash, and he's actually putting Akaza on the back foot, and he tries to pin him down with his sword. He does just that, and Akaza is about to break away, but his clone slices into Akaza's arm, cutting it off, and then penetrating his sword into his chest, pinning him down as well. The non-clone version of Tanjiro pulls his sword out and has his clone hold him there. Akaza begins to panic, trying to break free of it, and even slicing into his own stomach as Tanjiro goes for his neck. He goes slicing down as hard as possible, even using his sun breathing. But even though he's using his sun breathing and slicing down as hard as he possibly can, he can't seem to break through Akaza's neck. Not entirely. He only gets about halfway through, and he goes to actually slice through it once again, but Akaza is slowly breaking free. He slices into his neck again, getting halfway through, and his clone even jumps up, putting his feet on top of his own sword and slamming his feet into Tanjiro's sword. Almost cutting Akaza's head off, but Akaza is able to break free. He's pissed. He was being held on the ground for that long. He had to get out of there as soon as possible. Tanjiro throws his own sword, penetrating Akaza, putting him back on the ground as the sun begins to slowly come out. Akaza realizes this. This kid, he wasn't even trying to beat me. He was trying to stall me? Yes, Tanjiro knew he couldn't slice through Akaza's neck, but he knew that if he focused on Akaza's neck, Akaza would have to do the same as well. Focus on protecting his neck and not focus on getting, broken free. So Tanjiro begins to try and just hold Akaza still, making sure he can't go anywhere. His clone and even himself grab Akaza and pin him to the ground and hold him in a body lock, trying to have the sun come out. but Tanjiro gets punched over and over in the stomach, and he just moans and groans at the punches that Akaza's throwing. Yeah, you're gonna have to go a little stronger than that. Akaza is still trying to break free, leaving cracked ribs on Tanjiro. Tanjiro being extremely hurt at this point. He doesn't care. He's gonna make sure he dies. Rengoku though, he's still down, and Akaza realizes that all he has to really do is get through Tanjiro, jumping up in the air and slamming his body into the ground as Tanjiro is forced to let him go, and his clone disappears, or the spirit that he made disappears. Akaza goes to run, but just as he does, well, the person that stands in front of him is Rengoku once again, slicing toward Akaza. Akaza questions how the hell he's still alive. Well, let's just say Nezuko just unlocked something far sooner than she would have ever before, because of Tanjiro's little leveling system of some sorts, because of the fact that he has a Maiden. She unlocked her healing potential and actually healed Rengoku. Yes, he's not fully recovered by any means, but he's strong enough to stall Akaza, even if that means just for a little bit longer. He sends his own sword through, and Tanjiro, with his last bit of effort, stabs him in the back and drags Akaza to the ground and points him to the sky. The sun. It's coming out, and Akaza begins to burn away. He tries to run toward the forest, but Tanjiro refuses to let him leave and holds on tight. Akaza realizes what's going on, and he's pissed. Well, if you're not gonna let me go, then you're dying with me. He sends his hand through Tanjiro's chest, ripping out his heart. Tanjiro falls, and so does his sword. Tanjiro was killed in the line of fire in battle. This would lead to basically everybody being sad. Sorry. All the Hashira mourn his death, and every single thing that they need to do has now been amplified. Many things would happen without Tanjiro. Many things. The entertainment district, the saving of Izui, Tengen's wives, that all happened still. Even without Tanjiro. It seemed that his death actually made people feel stronger, feel more inclined to work harder, save people. So the day when Tengen and Inosuke and Zenitsu came back for good, they went to go check on Nezuko, to check on Tanjiro's little sister. They wanted to follow in his footsteps, follow in everything that he wanted in that future. They wanted to cure Nezuko, just like how Tanjiro wanted. But when they arrived back, they saw a figure in there with Nezuko as they break free and break in, grabbing the figure, throwing him outside. But as the figure rolls and regains himself, he reveals himself out of a blue hoodie that seems to be angelic of some sorts. And he reveals himself to be Tanjiro himself. What happened to Tanjiro? Let's just say death is not something that suits him. He did die, but it's as if he was sent right back here. He's not sure about how this even works, about how his life even is built this way, but he saw something when he was dead. He saw someone. Or something? He wasn't even sure what it was, but it was something that was telling him that unfortunately he couldn't die, not at this moment, and he got sent back months later. But unbeknownst to him, it felt like seconds, but on the outside, it was months. Tanjiro sticks his sword in the ground and begins to greet them once again. And immediately the other Hashira are called out to meet him, and let's just say Tanjiro is back with the people that he's supposed to be. Tanjiro didn't die. He can't die, it seems. These graces or some sorts link him back to this world. Maybe he is already dead. Maybe he is in limbo. He's not so sure. He doesn't even know. But even though he doesn't know the word or the meaning of the name the Tarnished, he decides that as the newest Hashira, he would announced that to be his name. Tanjiro Kamado is now the Tarnished hero, or the Tarnished Hashira. And that is a wrap for our story. And maybe there's a lot more to cover, but as always, I don't go into the manga, at least not that often. But I hope you all enjoyed nonetheless. If you did, make sure to leave a like, sub, comment down below. And I hope all y'all are hyped for Demon Slayer Season 3. I believe it's probably going to happen sometime in 2023. Super hyped for that. Demon Slayer's fun. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later. I don't wanna waste what's